Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm back with a video that I decided with a poll. I made a poll of 4 characters: Vivian, Raheema, Unka, and Louis, and one person voted, and that person voted for Raheema, so this is for them. Anyway, let's get into it. To summarize, Raheema Adan is a 13-year-old Somali religious girl. She was originally from Cardiff, Wales, but moved from Cardiff to Bristol because of her mother's job. She just wanted to settle down and make friends at a new school, while also dealing with new diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. But Bulbuz comes along and ruins everything. Now onto physical appearance. She has an oval-shaped face with a wet hijab. She has large round eyes, a kind smile, and a wide nose. During times when she's not wearing school uniform, because remember this takes place in England and most schools have school uniform, with only a few days of non-uniform day, she can be found wearing a number of colourful abayas. Her favourite one is an ankle-length purple abaya with gold embroidery. Raheema Adan was born on the 23rd of August to Aisha Hussein and Abdullahi Adan. Her parents divorced when she was 7, and her mother got full custody because her dad worked abroad a lot. Aisha's job moved to Bristol when Raheema was about to start year 8. And since Raheema's birthday is in August, she's actually 13 at the time of the events happening. Raheema Adan was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was 12 years old, shortly before she left Cardiff. She monitors her diabetes using a finger prick glucose monitor, where your finger gets pricked for blood and the blood is checked for the sugar levels. She monitors her blood sugar levels when she wakes up, before and after she eats, and before and after any exercise. And in case her blood sugar gets too low, she always makes sure to carry around a few snacks, just in case. Raheema is an extrovert and social butterfly, unlike the other 3 people in her new friendship group. She's the most confident one and often the first to jump to the defense of others, because she is not scared of anybody. However, other people can be rather intimidated by her, which she's not really going to understand at times. Raheema's dream job is to design modest clothing that covers a lot of the body, that also looks good and has pockets. She designs clothes in a notebook that she keeps in her room at all times, that was gifted to her by her dad. And here is this chart I made, well, more of a list really. Friends and allies on the left side and enemies on the right. And now let's get into relationships between Raheema and other characters. I find this part to be very important because it really helps you realize exactly what relationship characters have, and often brings to light that you didn't write the characters as well as you think you did. Anyway, I'm rambling, hence the name of the channel. Raheema Adan and Vivian Chance. Vivian comes off as being pretty annoying and weird the first time Raheema meets her. She's not very forthcoming and she's rather quiet. Kind of jumps when you talk to her. That sort of thing. Vivian later proves that she is helpful to Raheema and a good friend when she helps Raheema with homework, explains where her glasses are because she's still kind of new and she doesn't know everything about the school yet, and alerts Raheema to the fact that gammon comes from a pig and isn't halal, because while Raheema knows all about bacon being from a pig and pork being from a pig, she has never heard of gammon. Raheema likewise defends Vivian from bullies and vents to Vivian about the effect that Bulbuz now has on their social life, because it has a chokehold on the school, let me tell you. Now for Raheema Adan and Louis Chessel. Raheema regards Louis as being pretty nice, but loud and asks a lot of questions, some of them a little invasive. Louis is the one to ask Raheema to sit with him and Ankit, and also the one who initiated the friendship by asking Raheema to join them at lunch. It should say at lunch, but it doesn't. Sorry. They bond by laughing at the new bullies that have materialized in their lives. Those new bullies being Mavis, Adeline, and Jaina, which Raheema, Louis, and Ankit absolutely never met before. They just materialize for the sole purpose of being complete weirdos. And now for Raheema, Adan, and Ankit Khatri. Raheema and Ankit don't really interact individually, but they consider each other to be friends and good people. Raheema sees Ankit as being socially awkward and quiet, but she knows that he's trying to interact and is very intelligent. Ankit sees Raheema as being stubborn, but she's very good at getting them what they need and want. This works out well for them when they need answers from someone, and Raheema is the one that sweet talks the person into telling them more than they had originally planned, which works well for Ankit. And now the characters that are not so nice, to say the least. Raheema, Adan, and Mavis Beverly. Raheema met Mavis in a not good way, when she was bullying Vivian with Adeline and Jaina over not drinking the vulvas. Mavis calls Raheema Vivian's babysitter when she defends Vivian from the bullying, and it all went even more downhill from there. Vivian clarifies that Mavis used to be her best friend, but then sided with the bullies because Vivian embarrassed her. Although Raheema and Mavis don't interact too much one-on-one, or at all to be honest, she does talk to Vivian about how to deal with Mavis when Vivian comes to her for advice, and that's basically it. Now for Raheema, Adan, and Adeline Joyner. This relationship also gets off to a bad start immediately, because, like with Mavis, the first time Raheema meets Adeline, she is bullying Vivian, and then turns her sights onto her. After getting over her anger at how they talk to Vivian, herself, and her new friends, she decides that she hates them. Specifically Adeline, who seems to be the leader. She is the leader. As payback, she refuses to use Adeline's real name, instead referring to her as basically anything that starts with A and is not her name. Adverb, administration, addition, atrocity, etc. The same with Jaina. Basically all the same stuff applies here. Raheema meets Jaina when Jaina's bullying Vivian with Mavis and Adeline. Raheema dislikes them because of the bullying and then starts calling Jaina anything that starts with J and isn't her name. For example, jackalope and jackhammer and juxtaposition. And finally, even though this is the very last slide here, I'd like to talk about one last thing. The inspiration for Raheema Adan. Raheema Adan is based on a real person, and that person is my cousin. And quite frankly, if anyone's got main character energy, it's my cousin. I just find her to be really cool. Well, the cousin, that is. Raheema's also cool, but the cousin has an advantage over her on the grounds that she's real. Quite frankly, it feels good to see someone like me in media. And if no one else is going to do it, I think I will. That is all. Thank you.